I was cool. And when I finally got sober, felt 10 years older, but it was something to do. I'm living out in LA. I drive a sports car just to prove I'm a real big baller, cause I made $1 million and I spend it on girls.
Welcome everybody to Off the Cuff. I am Adam Banks. Thank you for listening to the show. Nellie is here in the studio with me.
There has been a lot going on, Nellie. We have been watching the conventions, the Republican and the Democrat conventions.
I watched the Democrat. I did not watch the Republican.
Why?
Because man is going to get us killed.
And Hillary ain't?
He's going to get us all killed.
And Hillary won't?
Yeah, no.
So you're for Hillary?
Yeah.
That's who you've endorsed. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, Nellie has made her decision. She's endorsing Hillary Clinton.
She has also going to have her husband at her right side.
Right.
That has been there.
Right. Yeah, but has everybody forgot? Here's what's funny about that. While she's up there giving the love speech and Bill Clinton's up there giving the speech about how they met, has everybody forgot that Bill Clinton cheated on her? I'm sorry. I'm confused.
What the hell does that got to do with her stability?
My thing is this. It's okay that he cheated on her. A lot of things happen in a marriage.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me finish what I'm saying. A lot of things happen in a marriage. No, cheating is not right. But a lot of things happen in a marriage where couples work it out. They worked out, obviously, their issues and they moved on. So I'm not knocking them for that. That's their own business. It's none of ours. But I wouldn't be up on stage giving the love story about how this, and this. I mean, he cheated on her.
He was in love with her at that time.
At that time, of course. But Monica was...
Adam, that is such old school news.
But it still happened.
No,
but, okay,
what the hell
so
ever.
what was your favorite part about the Democratic
How many
convention?
other ones you think that's happened with other women, and they just didn't get caught?
It's happened a lot. And I said it's okay. That stuff happens. And they have obviously worked out their issues, Nellie. But for him to get up there and talk about how they're this perfect couple and paint this picture...
He was trying to give them a picture of how wonderful a woman, mother, and spouse she was. And he brought up hard times and stuff.
That's all good, but she still wouldn't be a good president, in my opinion. That's in my humble opinion. So,
well,
we watched the Democratic convention. I watched it with you.
Donald Trump will be a nightmare.
We watched it together. What was your favorite speech? Biden spoke. President Obama spoke. Chelsea spoke. What was your favorite speech out of that whole convention? Think about everybody who spoke. Michelle, everybody.
I love what Chelsea had to say a lot about her growing up and the kind of woman.
She's smart, ain't she?
She's very smart. Hillary spoke about her in an interview, and she said, she's so smart. She said, oh, she's so smart.
Yeah, think about this. Chelsea Clinton will be the first child to be the first ever first kid. Twice.
Uh-huh.
Her mom and her dad, she could say, was president.
Well, and the thought that she has made history by just being nominated.
Hillary, yes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. That's a big moment. And I think we should kind of take a second to really acknowledge that fact that here in this country, 2016, we have a woman, as the main candidate for the Democratic Party as a woman for president. That's pretty huge. Pretty phenomenal.
It's better than an idiot.
Pretty phenomenal. So you like Chelsea.
Yes.
My favorite speech was Joe Biden.
I think he did a hell of a job.
I think he did great. He mentioned his son, which is very sad. No parent should ever have to bury their kid. That is, the child is not supposed to
die before the
parent.
I know.
The parent's not supposed to outlive the kid. He brought up him. And then he just kind of got the country pumped about being an American. And that was what the country needed.
And I understand what they're saying, too. I don't think that we're not still a great country.
Yeah.
There's still good out there. There's people out there that help one another and try. They're all fighting for our country.
Yeah. So the Democratic convention was pretty successful. I think Hillary probably gained some votes. Katy Perry sang.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she sang at the convention. Michelle Obama went out there and gave a speech. President Obama really gave a good speech. I think he gave the best pass the torch speech that you could give to a candidate. He said there is no more qualified person than Hillary to win. So that was that. Now the Republican convention was a little different.
It was ugly.
It was a little different, and I think going first is always the hardest because you are the first ones to fill everybody
You're
out.
setting the stage for what it's going to be.
Exactly.
Or you think you have.
There was some good speeches, but there was some bad speeches. The good one, I think Ivanka Trump did a really good job presenting her speech. She introduced her dad, just like Chelsea introduced her mom. Ivanka introduced her dad. Ivanka Trump, let me tell you something about her. She could be, if she wanted to, she could just be a reality star sitting by the pool drinking coconut rum.
She ain't stupid. That's
she's
trashy to them.
But she is smart.
Uh-huh.
She went to
All
college,
those kids are.
got a degree, and she runs Trump organizations. She runs that. So you have to hand it to her, too. She's smart. And if I had to put Chelsea and Ivanka, that would be a challenge. That would be a matchup.
me.
You don't think so? Why?
She's no way.
Does Ivanka intimidate you because of how just she's beautiful and smart?
No.
And she
doesn't intimidate me at all.
Because Chelsea, I don't think, is a very attractive lady.
That's got nothing to do with it.
Exactly. She's smart.
She's brilliant.
Yeah, and so is Ivanka.
And no.
You don't think
No.
Ivanka is brilliant?
She has not even come close
Well, what is
to experiencing what Chelsea has in her life.
Probably not. Probably not. That, I mean, I know what you're meaning. Yeah, if you're similar but not so similar.
You are always a dollar sign. Whoever's got the most money is
No.
who you want.
No. Let me defend myself here on this one. Chelsea probably had a more interesting life, but so did Ivanka. Here. Let me paint their life shortly.
I
really
know
quick
what
how
both of them
Chelsea
lived, Dad.
lived through a presidential life.
I know that.
That's 1 in a million.
Yeah, I lived through all that.
1 in a billion. Ivanka went through a billionaire's life.
Yeah.
You know, that's 1 in a billion. So it's hard to live both of those lives, but they both had interesting turns. Ivanka gave a good speech. I think that Donald Trump's wife, we talked about that a little bit on the last podcast about how she copied Michelle's speech.
Somebody did.
Oh my goodness.
She didn't write that.
She didn't write it. You know, they have writers, but I don't know. And then Ted Cruz got up and wouldn't endorse Donald Trump.
I know it.
And he told Americans to vote and think wisely before they vote. He says to be careful. So I don't know. I think it's going to be close. Nellie, when it comes down to it, who are you pulling the lever for in November?
Hillary.
You're voting for Hillary.
I've got to.
That's big. That's big news. So Nellie, some big news in your life is it's getting closer and closer to the day for your surgery.
Yeah.
Are you nervous?
Of course. I think everybody is when you have to have surgery, but yet I think everything will be okay. I've got a good doctor and a surgeon, and of course I've got God.
Yeah.
So,
You ready for it to be over, though?
oh yeah. So ready.
How long is the recovery going to be?
I don't have any idea yet. It depends on lots of things.
Yeah.
So
But you're not going to be on bed rest or anything after the surgery, right? Like you can get
that
up and
depends
move
on
around.
lots of things. Hopefully no.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
if everything goes well and not have to do anything extra or, I don't know.
Are you feeling sick
I haven't felt really good. I had a lot of trouble with this foot
with your foot?
the other day, but it seems like it's gotten a little bit better.
Well,
I couldn't walk on it
I think you'll be okay.
for like 3 days.
Yeah. I think you're going to be okay. I do.
I hope so.
Once you had the surgery, you're going to be able to get out of the surgery and you're going to be able to tell the podcast listeners about your experience.
Yeah.
Of what it was like to go in there. Laying in that
Well, I
bed.
already know what it's like.
Are they putting you under
Oh, yeah.
under anesthesia? Are you nervous about that?
Oh, it always worries me a little bit.
Yeah, going to sleep. I always heard that when you wake up, because I've woken up from anesthesia from my wisdom teeth, but I always heard a lot of people say, I was just glad to be awake.
Yeah.
I said, how did you feel? They was like, I don't care. I was just glad to be awake.
Mm-hmm.
Because, it almost puts you really close to death with your heart rate. They slow down your heart rate so slow. But, they
I
have
didn't
a very...
know they did that.
Yeah, they have a very high success rate, yeah. That's when they put you to sleep. I mean, you don't feel nothing. You're out.
Oh, I know that.
That's why you're out, because your heart rate is just... They just slow it
I
down.
think that's slow.
It's anesthesia. Like
I know what anesthesia does.
It's like 15 beats a minute.
Who told you that?
Look it up.
I will.
We'll have to after the podcast because
Yes.
we can't look it up no more because we got this going. So Nellie, what all has been going on in the world other than the political world and other than the talk about?
I had been watching a lot of TV. I've been trying to get ready to go to the hospital. I had a lot of things to do and clean and paint and furniture and all that stuff.
For your apartment?
Yeah.
You've been doing a lot of that lately. You are really good at it. I think you should be an interior designer. I really do.
It's fun, but it's hard work too. It is.
Is it really? Well, Nellie, the Powerball was $487 million, and there was a winning ticket sold in New Hampshire. All 6 numbers on the ticket bought Saturday night matched the winning numbers, which are 11, 17, 21, 23, 32, and Powerball number 5. The Powerball officials will say the jackpot was the 9th largest in the nation's history. And it was in New Hampshire. One winner. Wow.
Well, I'd be tickled if I won $1,000. I can't imagine winning that kind of money.
Nellie, $480 million. What would you do with it?
First thing I'd do is I'd pay off my bills, Lord.
Yeah, I think that's the first thing a lot of people would do is, well, not really the first thing, but like it's definitely the first thing that makes the most sense is to pay off your bills first. Don't you think?
Yeah, and I'd like to buy me a real nice 1-floor condo.
Yeah. So you'd buy a house.
Okay.
Definitely, you'd buy a
And
house.
a
Yeah, I
car.
think you should get a condo.
And a car.
What kind of car?
And then I'd help my family. That'd be the first thing I'd do.
Yeah, and give your co-host some stuff too.
Yeah, yeah.
Give your co-host some stuff. So Nellie, just talking about what's going on in the city. We've been giving this gum hell this whole podcast.
We're going to have to redo it.
You know, we're sorry, ladies and gentlemen, the whole
We
time
forgot.
if you've been just. I mean, we have both have. We just been chewing and chewing and talking.
Just chomping like an old cow with curd. Food.
But just talking about other things that's been going on in the city of Lexington. They did a poll of Jim Gray and Rand Paul who would win the United States Senate seat. 30-some% say Gray and 60-some% say Rand Paul. So that's a pretty large number. If I had poll numbers like that, I would just give up.
I wouldn't.
I don't know if he can beat Eastern Kentucky. You know,
Well, you got to give him a chance, Adam. It just really started.
yeah, it really has started. Yeah, you got to give him a
And I'm
chance.
sorry, but I don't have much respect for Rand Paul.
Why is that?
I just think he acts like an ass on TV and stuff. I don't want somebody representing me
Yeah,
that acts like that.
yeah. I understand.
He's very rude.
Yeah, I understand.
You know what I'd say if I could?
What would you say?
You know what I'd say?
Oh my gosh. I hope nobody can decode what Nellie said through her lips on the podcast.
No.
No, they can't. Well, Nellie, I want to thank you for being here.
Well, I want to
Thank you.
welcome you.
I
Thanks for having me.
want to thank you. I don't know what that.
I want to welcome you.
Yeah, I know. Welcome me to the.
I have these moments, people. You got to remember I'm sick.
That's her excuse for everything here lately. Adam, I'm sick. I see, Nellie, now that you got your place all back to yourself, I see that you're sleeping until 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. I came home, ladies and gentlemen, for lunch to say hi to my good friend and knock, knock, knock. I was like, she'll be up. She'll be sitting
I
there
got up at
maybe
2 o'clock.
smoking a cigarette or
Did you really knock on my door?
or drinking some coffee, but no, here she come to the door, her hair wild like Rod Stewart. She had her pants on. I was like, hey, Nellie, what are you doing? Good. She was
I was
sleeping.
like, what are you doing?
Yeah, she was tired. Well, Nellie, I want to thank you for being here, is what I was going to say.
I was still up at 4 o'clock.
And it's always a pleasure having you.
Thank you, Adam.
This was episode 125. Or 124, one of them. Remember?
It's one of them.
One of them. I feel like every time we do a podcast, we get interrupted.
Please keep me in your prayers.
Keep Nellie in your prayers. I feel what it is.
We still chomping, ain't we?
No, I got mine out, and you know what I've done is I put mine on my leg, and I cannot.
Stick to your hair,
stick
you idiot.
to my hair on my legs, and
We're
it's
not
hurting
gonna
really
get
bad.
this shot
How
in.
am I going to get this gum off of my leg?
Could you take me to get a shot if I need you to?
We'll see you later, ladies and gentlemen, on the next episode. I'm Adam Banks. Nellie, love you so much.
You do, man.
It's always fun. Going out with a lighter of flying. Why did that just end?
No, I guess because it was over.
But it really